Good morning, everyone. My name's Andy Bishop. Couple of disclaimers. I'm not medically trained. I am a computer network engineer by trade, and I volunteer and am an ambassador for the Public Health Collaboration. So this is about the real food movement. I've been asked to tell a little bit about my story and my journey. Back in 2015, I weighed 15.5 stone. So that's me on holiday and in work. And things were getting snug and a little bit bigger, and I put it down to, well, you're just getting older. You've just turned 50. I was feeling a little bit sluggish, and I thought, yeah, there's nothing, I'm all right, I'm just getting a bit bigger, it's older, I'm married, I'm settled. Normal. And like most blokes, avoided the doctor. However, that did catch up with me, and I'll talk about that a bit later. In January, I thought, I've had enough of this feeling sluggish. I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to join the gym. I'm going to change what I eat. Now, my engineering brain said, let's do some research and find out what's a good diet. And I came across this, a lovely Eat Well guide. And that's a typical day's menu for me there. It's low-fat yogurt, no added sugar juice, toast or packet porridge, the stuff you nuke in the microwave for 2 minutes. And a typical office worker, there's always the biscuit in the office and things like that. So I started that, and I lost a bit of weight. And I was going to the gym, and I thought, yeah, that's great. And then the motivation waned, and the gym stopped. And the weight started to creep back up really, really quickly. I went to the doctor, and on 16th of June, I was told my A1C is 62. And I said, well, what does that mean? And they explained that I was a type 2 diabetic. And like most people sitting there in the doctors, I'm like a rabbit in the headlights, and they're giving me all these numbers and meanings and things, and they're saying, right, here's a prescription, you're going to be on these tablets, you're going to come back for blood tests every couple of months, or maybe once or twice a year, and you can go and see a dietitian, you can go to diabetic education if you want. And I thought, oh, right, yeah, okay. And I went home and I told my family, told my wife and the kids, and, like most people, they said, well, it can't be that bad. You're just on tablets. So it's not, you haven't got to get too serious, And then I came across this guy, Jamie Oliver. And I remember this program he did called Sugar Rush, and this was the start of Jamie Oliver's campaign about sugar. And it was all about diabetic amputation. And that scared the living daylights out of me. Here's some more scary numbers about the rate of diabetic amputation across the country. And I thought, well, I'm quite attached to my feet and I want to stay that way. I should really do something about this. Surely, there's more that I can do. I did more research and found out the classical definition for diabetes. Chronic progressive disease leads to all these sort of horrible things that can happen to people. But nobody actually said that to me. I think they didn't want to scare me off. That was never mentioned to me. And I found that out by doing my own little bit of research. A month after diagnosis, I saw this, BBC screening. I was like, ooh, program about type 2 diabetes, gotta watch that. Who's seen this? Oh, that's great, there's quite a few people there. This changed my life. This guy was semi-retired. He used to work for BT, he was an engineer, did a similar job to me, and he had a similar diet to me, looking at his shopping trolley on the program. And they managed to turn this guy's life around. And I thought, there's definitely something in this. How can I find out more? So again, more research. I came across this guy. This guy was on Sky News. And here's a cardiologist telling me to eat fat. And I was like, what? So I thought, well, that's quite interesting. So I downloaded his film and I'll watch Big Fat Fix. And that was it, that started me looking even more. I came across this chap. And he'd gone to Spot of Bother for talking about low carb recently, as some of you may know, and he's a lovely, absolutely lovely guy. So I bought his book, The Real Meal Revolution. I read that, I thought that's fascinating. And then I came across this guy, Mike Mosley, and what I liked about Mike was, he experiments on himself, he does this on TV and shows people the results. I thought, wow, definitely got to try this. But I'm quite practically minded, so where do I start? I've got no chance of meeting these people. These are all people on the telly and stuff like that. I wanted someone local. I wanted someone I could go and talk to. And I came across these two. David Unwin and Joanne McCormack. Now, I work in Warrington, and Joe McCormack was starting a low-carb group in Warrington. So I got in touch with her and said, look, I'm not a patient of yours, but is there any chance I can come along to your group? I just got recently diagnosed as type 2. And she said, yeah, fine, come along. You know, and that was it. That was my starting point. When I met Jo, she said, do you do blood tests? Do you monitor your blood sugar levels? No. She said, I'd recommend it. And I think this is something that all type 2s should be doing. Just to see the effect of what you're eating and what it does to your blood sugar levels. I think that's a really clear indicator. So I started, and again, engineering approach to this. I ran a proof of concept on myself. I made some low-carb granola. I mean, I never even knew you could make cereal at home, for God's sake. But low-carb granola, and I compared it to 2 Weetabix. Now, the reason I picked Weetabix is, if you look on the box, all those lovely traffic lights on the front are green. Now, that's not normally how I would eat Weetabix. I would normally have that with a load of raisins on the top or a banana or something like that. But I thought, no, let's just keep it simple and let's see what happens. So I did it, and I tested with my meter, and it comes out like that. And that's the Weetabix without the fruit added. Oh, there's definitely something in this. I thought, right, I'm going to extend this proof of concept. So I started making swaps. Small stages, small changes. So, frozen chips. Made chips that sweet. Swap the no added sugar cordial for sparkling water with ice and lemon or lime. Convenient rice onto cauliflower rice. And the interesting thing about this is when I did this, my wife said, what, you're make rice out of cauliflower? That's a bit weird, isn't it? I said, well, try some. And we don't buy that stuff anymore. She prefers this as well. Potatoes for celeriac, you can make a lovely celeriac mash. Real fish. Not very label friendly, some of these though, because they're quite rare and that. But, if you're type 2 and you're a low carb or a real food, you should be looking at the ingredients on the back and not necessarily the traffic lights on the front. And of course, swap that. And that is a glass of red wine, it's not a pint of red wine. So I started making these small changes, and I noticed that these small changes were starting to add up, and I was starting to feel a lot better, a lot livelier. Clothes were getting baggier. This seems to be working. So the other side of it was I needed to move more. And so I started walking every day. Really, really simply, just get up, walk around the block, takes 10 minutes before I went to work, before I had anything to eat. And I built up that time, and at the weekends when I had more time, I was walking an hour and a half on the Saturday and the Sunday. A year ago, I was lucky enough to attend a talk by Dr. Simon Tobin and Tom Williams, who works at Parkrun. And I'd heard of Parkrun, and it was one of those things, oh, hang on a minute, that means getting up early on a Saturday morning and getting out of bed and going to some park and running around, that sounds like effort. But I thought, no, let's give this a go. So I went, and on my very first parkrun, I walked around. I walked around with a lady called Eileen, who's 68, and she walks the parkrun course every week. Doesn't matter what the weather is, she walks it. And I had a fantastic time chatting to her. And I thought, oh, I quite like this, so I went back the week after. And the week after that, in 6 weeks' time, I've done 50 of these. I now walk, jog, shuffle, run my way around. The first time it took me an hour, I can now do this in 35 minutes. So that also has a tremendous impact on me. But that, combined with the changes I've made in my food, enabled me to do this. So this is a copy of my HbA1c graph, and as you can see there, it was 62 upon diagnosis. Following a real food and low carb, and note there I'm saying low carb, not no carb. I was down to 39 within 3 months. So 39 is, to all purposes, a normal blood sugar reading. And the practice nurse who saw me looked at it and she said, yeah, oh, that's very good. Keep taking those tablets. So I was like, what? Hang on a minute. When we were here, I made a note, and you said anything below 40 is, it's classed as normal. Why do I need to still take the tablets? Yeah, you're never going to keep this up. This is a fad. You'll never keep this way of eating up. So that was a bit disappointing. She did agree to cut my metformin by half. I said, okay, fair enough. I said, I'll see you in 3 months. And then I saw her 3 months after that. And as you can see, time went on. A year later, I came off my metformin because they saw that effectively I was in diabetic remission. And this year, I've been really boring. It's gone very flat line with me. I'm still at 35. So I was really excited about that, and I have to thank Dr. Allen for printing these graphs off for me, because I'd go and monitor them now, and I think they'd look at the appointments and see I'm coming and go, oh my God, he's going to ask me questions. So I was really, really chuffed with that. All this led me to think, why wasn't I told this in the first place? Why weren't the medical community saying to me, you're a diabetic, here are your list of options. Now, thankfully, things are getting better, and there's an awful lot of GPs who approach this and say, yes, we can do X, Y, and Z. However, have you tried changing what you eat? Have you tried moving more? And that's what public health collaboration is basically about. Trying to improve outcomes by educating people to eat real food. And we work with GPs, practice nurses, and the public. This is taken from this year's conference. Quite a few familiar faces on there. So I volunteered for PHC, and that meant going to work at the conferences. And a couple of years ago, Sam, the chief exec of PHC, created the ambassador program. And I went, yeah, go on, I'll have some of that. That sounds good. Didn't know what it was. And I said, yeah, I'll sign up for that. And basically, we'd go and try and do events like this, or go and speak to nurses or doctors or anyone who listens really, and tell them about the impact that real food can have on people's lifestyle. So this is me in action. So this is one of my low carb groups, quite well attended, really keen people on there. And here I am because I got invited to my local GP practice network, and I've spoken to a few GP networks now. And there's the lovely Dr. David Ullman's infographics there in my hand that I always hand out because they're brilliant. And so I've been doing this while working full-time as well, and get some really, really interesting results from it. In fact, here's a group of the practices that I work with in Liverpool. I not only work with practices in Liverpool, I also do sessions via Skype, and I've worked with GPs up in Scotland and down in London, and basically I'll talk to anyone who's willing to listen to me. So I've got some new projects coming up with some of these practices that hopefully I'll be able to talk about a bit more in about a month's time. I'd like to finish by just sharing a couple of examples. This is Brian, and I like Brian. He's a very happy chap. He joined the low carb group, and this is what happened to him within a month of going low carb. He was type 2 diabetic. He was insulin dependent, and by following low carb, he's dropped his insulin dose by over 50% within a month, just through changing what he eats. And he started again, really simply, small changes, seeing what was a good fit for him, what he did like, what he didn't like, what worked. And he had a meter, so he was testing as he went along. So there's Brian, and I'd like to leave you with this. Now, Pam said I could post this. Pam, her A1C was 108. Yeah. And that's a dramatic drop down to 40. And she's now off her meds, her blood pressure's fine, her lipid profile's great, and then she's got that dreadful low carb side effect of losing weight as well. Seems to happen to an awful lot of us. So I can sum this up really easily in 3 simple steps, and they are: eat real food, avoid fake food, and be active every day. Thank you very much. I think the benefit of a conference like this is it gives people an opportunity to find out what's going on in the low carb and real food lifestyle movement. It's a great opportunity to meet people like myself who've been there and done it, got the t-shirt kind of thing, but also to find out what's happening now, what's current in it. 3 years ago when I was diagnosed, most people weren't that familiar with low carb and real food to help people who were diabetic, but that's now slowly changing. The thing that makes me proud about our work is the changes that I see in people. You know, you have this light bulb moment when they realise what they're eating has a direct impact on how they're feeling and their overall health. I think the message is really simple, as I said there at the end of my talk. You know, eat real food, avoid fake food, and move a little every day. You know, really simple, and try and keep things as practical as possible for people.